Hello and welcome everyone to the Gold and Silver Club end of week review for the 13th of June 2014, presented by myself, Phil Carr, and Nick Housey at the Gold and Silver Club. Today, of course, we will be reviewing the latest developments in the commodities markets. We'll be analysing the week's performance. The live session will cover an end of week summary for the commodities: gold, silver, oil, natural gas. We'll be looking at agricultural commodities. We'll look at the top trades of the week. We'll also be covering live market commentary and technical analysis. We'll look at the week ahead, so the key events looking forward. And of course, we'll be answering any questions you may have too. Right. So first of all, we've had a very interesting week on gold this week. We've actually broken out to the upside. So I'll go on to the technicals very shortly. The energies have had huge surges in the last 48 hours or so. And the reason for that, commodity prices have surged as tension in Iraq increases the safe haven demand. So Iraq is back in the news headlines again this week as a surge of violence across the country's 3 years after the US troops withdrew has raised the prospect of a return to civil war in OPEC's second biggest oil producer. This week's militants seized major cities in Iraq, along with the town of Baiji, home to Iraq's largest oil refinery that has a capacity of producing 310,000 barrels of crude oil per day. In total, Iraq's combined oil output was 3.3 million barrels a day last month, making it the second largest producer in the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, after Saudi Arabia. 17% of the country's oil reserves are located in the areas threatened by the militants. The escalating violence has raised concerns of a possible demand to supply disruptions in the region, driving crude oil prices to 9-month highs. On Friday morning, WTI rallied to $106 a barrel, a level it last touched in September 2013, whilst Brent crude oil climbed to $114 a barrel, a level it was last seen at in August of last year. In other commodity markets, gold prices have soared to 3-week highs as risk factors in Iraq boosted the demand for the precious metal as a safe haven. And reports on Friday indicated Iraq's government has requested assistance from the US to carry out strategic airstrikes against the insurgents. So if the tension continues to intensify and the US is forced to intervene, this is likely to push gold and oil prices higher moving into next week. So the commodity complex has seen some tremendous breakouts in the last 48 hours or so. We hope some of you caught the moves, and with a big breakout to the upside like this, we're likely to get some very lucrative opportunities to trade this even today and into next week. We've got the Federal Reserve announcement, remember, next Wednesday. So there will be a lot of lucrative trading opportunities now as we go into next week. So we'll cover that in detail on the technicals. Before we do so, I'm Phil Carr, professional trader, trainer and speaker. I'm the co-founder and director of the Gold and Silver Club. I specialize in teaching people how to make money from trading the most lucrative financial markets in the world. So gold, silver, oil, natural gas, agricultural commodities. I train thousands of individuals to become independent traders and successfully manage their own investment portfolio. And I'm responsible for the research and development of the Gold and Silver Club trademark strategies that have a proven track record of generating returns for traders. Also a regular contributor to a number of financial publications, speak at numerous trading seminars, webinars and workshops. Joining me in running the Gold and Silver Club is Nick Housey, professional trader, investment analyst and speaker. Nick began his career within private wealth management in 2002 before making the transition into proprietary trading. And prior to co-founding the Gold and Silver Club, spent over 5 years coaching professional fund managers and traders internationally for some of the world's top tier hedge funds and investment banks. And through his first-hand relationship with some of the world's most successful traders, discovered the formula, mindset and tools that can give any individual the definitive edge to trade in any economy. And also regularly writes for a number of global business and financial publications. We've appeared frequently on financial TV. So that's just a bit of background on the Gold and Silver Club for those of you who are new to today's Commodities Corner. So we'll just take a look at the gold price at the moment. So we're currently trading, let's have a look at $1,272 an ounce. Came up and hit a key level just earlier on this morning at 12.76. So we shall definitely take a look at that on the technicals. Before we do so, I'm just going to move over and have a look at the top trades of the week using the Gold and Silver Club signature trading strategies. So there's been a number of top trades this week. Platinum has been a fantastic move this week, both for the buy side and the sell side. So earlier on this week, we triggered a nice buy signal. You can see a lovely 270-point move on that just earlier this week on Tuesday. And the risk on that was 90 points, so $900 risk for each lot traded for 270 points profit. So $2,700 for each lot traded for a lovely 3-to-1. Then this week, we've also had some nice opportunities to take advantage of the sell-off, particularly with wheat. The trend is your friend on wheat, and we certainly continue to see further downside here. We had a risk of 90 points, profit target hit there of 190 points for a 2-to-1 earlier this week as well on Tuesday. We've also had that lovely breakout. So we've been eyeing this up for most of the week on our live trading group. We finally got the surge and the breakout yesterday. Huge move there. We've actually moved circa a little bit. I think it's 350 points now in total that has been broken out to the upside, but we're glad to have caught a 300-point move on that. So the risk on the trade was 70 points. So each lot traded $700 risk for a profit of 300 points. So each lot traded $3,000 profit for a 3-to-1. So we hope you caught some action on the oils this week. And then Platinum, we actually completely reversed on Platinum just yesterday. I caught a really nice reversal on this. The risk on the trade was 70 points for each lot traded $700, and we just absolutely tanked on Platinum and Palladium. So the profit there was 220 points for a 3-to-1. Actually, it was 300. Just update the stats on there. It was a 360-point move in totality there on Platinum. Okay, and we'll take a look at that on the technicals very shortly as well. So those are the top trades of this week. We hope you caught some of the moves as well. There's going to be quite a few moves now as we go into Friday's US session and also into next week's Federal Reserve announcement. So with that, I'm going to move across to the technicals. We'll take a look at the charts and we can see where the action is going to be today as well. Okay, so first of all, what we'll do, we'll take a look at we'll start off with the energies, which are definitely in play at the moment, and we'll move over to the metals and then agriculture. Okay, perfect. Right. So let's start off. We'll go over, first of all, we will take a look at, we'll look at Brent crude oil. So Brent crude oil, huge breakout yesterday. You can see the massive move we got yesterday. We came all the way up to 114 US dollars an ounce. Now on the daily at the moment, you can see we've got quite a lot of indices. The market has driven the price up to 114, very quickly retraced there, about 150-point retracement. This could be very interesting now as we go into next week. Okay, so you've got a big gravestone doji on the daily time frame. So very interested to see after such a huge surge, if things start to calm down a little bit next week, we might see a reversal again and give back a lot of the gains that have been put on to Brent crude oil yesterday. So we want to keep an eye out for that. If we do get a reversal, we could really come back and give back a lot of the gains here on Brent, circa about a 200-point move to give back a lot of those gains. I'd definitely be looking out for that as we go into next week, see if we're going to break down. If not, and we can clear above this week's high, we should get further upside here. But this is very telling, this big gravestone doji on the daily. A similar situation with all the energies at the moment after yesterday's breakout. On WTI, crude oil, inverse hammer there developing on the daily. Got a nice breakout. Huge breakout to the upside. We'll be keeping an eye on this as well. See if we're going to get some profits taken here and potentially a pullback and a reversal on this as well on the Brent crude oil market. They have hit profit targets and also longer term trend lines here as well. So I would certainly be keeping an eye out for those on the energies as we go into next week. Okay. So you can see we hit the upper end of trend channels there. We'll go over to natural gas. Natural gas, similar situation. We had a huge surge in price. This was just yesterday as well. You can see this actually was helped along by the natural gas storage inventories. You can see we had a nice breakout on that gas in the region of about 200 points. Found some resistance at some key Fibonacci levels here. Again, as we go into next week, if we get a break below today's low here, we could then start to reverse and give back some of the gains that we've put in over the last couple of days. Particularly, we'll be keeping an eye on the energies. If we see things calm down in Iraq next week, this could lead to a reversal in price. However, if things continue to escalate, we'd just be looking for a breakout high here above $114 an ounce in order to really start coming up to some key levels, which we tested in the last 2 years. 117 level above being very key level for Brent crude oil. Right, let's just take a look at the gold market. So gold, for those of you who joined us last week, we were looking at this breakout to the upside here. So we have come up and we've hit our key level of resistance for the time being, take profit target on gold as well. Gold is definitely going to be in play with next week's Federal Reserve announcement. We should certainly get more activity on gold in the following week. So we've had a really nice move this week, broken out in the region of 150-point move from our entry, and we've come up to resistance there. So we're just going to be looking for potential for either a continuation of this breakout or reversal as we go into next week on Federal Reserve. Also, I would definitely urge you to keep an eye on palladium at the moment. So palladium, a huge pullback after we've really been hitting some very lucrative highs over about 3-year highs on palladium in the last week or so. We broke out again earlier on this week to new 2014 highs. And yesterday we had a huge sell-off. So we moved in just one day 460 points to the downside, which really took out about 2 weeks worth of gains on palladium. However, there is a very key trend channel. Just draw that trend channel on your chart on the daily. You can see the market where it's just bouncing off at the moment. So palladium could represent a very good value trade here for a buy and to take this back up to resistance again. Palladium has been a fantastic market to trade in 2014, just continued to break out to higher highs. And it looks at the moment like we're just getting a retest, a pullback of this lower trend line. So definitely keep an eye on palladium. Platinum as well. Platinum, we've had a nice pullback. We had a really nice breakout at the beginning of the week, which you took advantage of. Then a sell-off again in order to sell. Really similar move, which I'm probably going to expect here on Brent and WTI, in that they had such a huge surge yesterday that they may well give back all their gains, similar to Platinum has done moving into next week. We'll be keeping an eye out for that, for the possibility of that occurring. At the moment on Platinum, we are finding some support around some key levels. There is some key trend lines here as well you want to keep an eye on. So Platinum, I would be again looking, it's not bad in terms of a value trade here from where the price is, finding a little bit of support this morning. We'll see whether we do find support and see how it goes into the close. But again, Platinum could represent a decent pullback here, particularly as gold and silver are finding support and have broken out the last week or so. Silver looking interesting here. Silver has broken out of its short-term downward trending channel. I want to see how silver closes today and how it moves on the Federal Reserve as we go into next week. Starting a very similar pattern here that we've seen on gold as well, this reversal pattern and a breakout that we've had of a key level at 1950. We're just about holding around that 1950 level, so I'm very interested to see how this is going to close into the US session today and on the Friday close for a potential setup as we go into next week's Federal Reserve week. Also looking at another market here which has continued to break down is the copper market. Copper actually took out some weekly lows just yesterday. We've got major support at the 3.00 level, which is a nice round number for the copper market. We'll see whether that does provide major support, and if we get a key bounce off that level, this is a key area for copper to either break down from in order to get a really decent move lower to the next key levels below, or we'll get a reversal from this level. So copper, we definitely want to keep an eye on. The metal complex is going to be very lucrative as we go into next week, particularly with the FOMC. And then if we move over to and have a look at the softs here, we've actually got a breakout today on coffee. Coffee's had a pretty nice move, but similar to gold and silver in terms of this reversal, the bottom we've formed on this reversal pattern. We've had a nice breakout just this morning on the coffee market. We'll see if we can pick up some momentum and close above really 172 into the Friday close to possibly start a bit of a trend reversal here on coffee, where it's found support some major key levels. If we look over to corn, similar situation. We've broken out to the upside just this morning. Wheat is lagging behind slightly on that. We've continued to break down to lower lows on wheat here. It's still looking pretty bearish, but it may follow through with corn and coffee as we go into next week. We could get some supportive moves and the potential a short-term low put into these markets. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And of course, the US dollar index you do want to watch as we go into next week, particularly again with the Federal Reserve announcement. This will be impacted significantly. We did sell off over the last couple of days on the US dollar index, and the inverse correlation there has given us some upward pressure here for gold and silver as we've seen breakouts. So we do want to keep an eye on the US dollar index where it closes the week. It's getting a little bit of support just this morning. If we see the US dollar index find support and break out again into next week, that will put pressure on the metals again, gold and silver. in particular. Okay, so we've got a lot to be looking at as we go into next week. A lot of potential lucrative opportunities. Remember, whenever the markets have huge moves to the upside or the downside, as they've done, that often creates very lucrative trade opportunities after huge moves. So if you have missed some of the moves there which have occurred on the energies, on platinum, on palladium, don't worry. There'll be plenty more opportunities today and as we go into next week as well. So let's have a look with that at the key news announcements as we go into next week. There are going to be a lot of news announcements. So these are the 6 announcements we want to look at. Monday, the 16th of June at 1:30 p.m. BST, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index. That rates the relative level of general business conditions in New York State. A level above 0.0 indicates improving conditions, whilst a level below indicates worsening conditions. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar, and a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish for the US dollar, and we'll have that inverse correlation with gold and silver. Next Tuesday, 17th of June at 1:30 p.m. BST, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have the US core CPI. So the Consumer Price Index, CPI, measures the changes in the price of goods and services, excluding food and energy. So the CPI measures price change from the perspective of the consumer. It is, of course, a key way to measure change in purchasing trends and inflation. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar, and a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish for the US dollar. Wednesday, the 18th of June at 3:30 p.m. BST, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have the US crude oil inventory. That data reports the number of barrels of crude oil commercial firms have in their inventory. So commercial firms report their inventory levels to the Energy Information Administration on a weekly basis. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bearish for crude oil prices, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as bullish. Then next Thursday, we have the US initial jobless claims, 1:30 p.m. BST, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And also just going back to that, on next Wednesday, we have the Federal Reserve announcement. Okay, so that's going to be, that will be from 7:30 p.m. BST, next Thursday. So that's going to be the 7 o'clock will be, the statement, and then we'll have the minutes at 7:30 p.m. BST. That's going to be a huge mover next week on Wednesday. Next Thursday, the 19th of June at 1:30 p.m. BST, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have the US initial jobless claims. That data measures the number of individuals who filed for employment insurance for the first time during the past week. That is the earliest US economic data. Week-to-week numbers can be volatile. Again, a higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar. A lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish. Thursday, the 19th of June at 3 p.m. BST, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we then have the US Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. That index rates the relative level of general business conditions in Philadelphia. A level above 0 on the index indicates improving conditions. Below indicates worsening conditions. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish. And then we have on Thursday, 19th of June, 3:30 p.m. BST, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Of course, you've got the US natural gas storage report and the Energy Information Administration. They provide the natural gas storage report measuring the change in the number of cubic feet of natural gas held in underground storage during the past week. So again, very tradable announcement. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bearish for natural gas, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as bullish. Okay, so those are the 6 major news announcements, and of course the FOMC that we need to take into account into next week. And of course, for those of you who want to take your trading to the next level and learn how to trade specifically the commodities markets with the Gold and Silver Club, courses are available at our international trading centers and online. You can find out more about June and July courses very simply. You can either contact one of our international offices, either call us at Hong Kong, Budapest, Johannesburg, New York, or our London office. And you can, of course, you can send us also an email, office@thegoldandsilverclub.com, or very simply go to www.jointhegoldandsilverclub.com and request further information on the Gold and Silver Club coaching programs and live trading rooms. So if you'd like to learn more about commodities, do that. And make sure you take advantage of our newsletter. So you'll receive free weekly report, of course, on the precious metals, energies, and agriculture for the week ahead. So do take advantage of that as well, guys. Okay, fantastic. Right. So with that, I wish you good luck for the rest of the day's trading, especially next week. And we will definitely catch you back here same time next week. Thanks to FX Street and the team for putting on today's webinar. And guys, we shall see you on the next one. Okay, take care. Have a great weekend. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.